Okay, now just a word of caution when you're trying to doing some vibe coding. A lot of time when we vibe code, we want it to have some AI features. For example, I just created a simple chatbot that talks to a teenager about what they learned in school. So what I'm expecting here is that it's going to give a response as if it was actually an AI, okay? So that if I say it was a bad day, then it's going to think and give me what like Gemini or ChatGPT would give me. Oh no, I'm really sorry to hear that. Now, sometimes when you do this, and I'm going to pull up one I did earlier here, um, especially in Claude, I found, I'm going to open this version, um, it's not actually interacting with a chatbot. So I can write, I had a bad day, and it's going to give me some generic response. So that sounds frustrating. Sometimes things just need to click. Okay. Now, how do I know whether it's actually using a chatbot? One thing is just to see if it always gives you really similar responses. Another is to look at the code. So in Claude, if I go right here, I can look at this code. Now, what you see here, if you see in green text that it has set things, these are the things the chatbot can say. Okay, that tells us that it's not generating anything. It's just repeating things in its code. And so, for example, here's the exact statement it gave me. That sounds frustrating. Sometimes things just need to click. Currently, as I'm making this video, that's what Claude usually does. And it can sound like a chatbot, but it's not really. It's really just following these. If I go to the Gemini code, and I haven't looked at this, so I'm assuming from my past experience, if I come down here, I can see here that there's chat messages. It's doing these functions where it's adding a message, and you see some things like user message, send message. It has this link. It's actually talking with Gemini to get the responses from an actual chat bot. So that tells me there are a couple error messages, but other than that, I see that it's actually calling a chatbot. Now, you also have to be careful when you share it. So you can share it on a canvas. So if this is a private account, it's not linked to an organization, you can copy the link. I like to open in an incognito tab so that I can see if someone has to sign in or not to see it. And I know from experience, they're not going to have to sign in. And then I can test it out here. Now here I can't see the code. Oh no, I can see the code. Oh, I can preview the code right here, right? And see if it works. Okay, and see if it's still using the chatbot, and I can test it that way. If I want to do the other method of sharing, where I copy the contents, and sometimes this is what you have to do from an organizational account, I open, this is just Notepad. I'm just going to open a fresh Notepad. So this is just anything that just lets you enter text like this. I save it, and I'm going to save it as chatbot.html because the code type is HTML, and I can save that. Okay, and I'm going to go to my files, and I'm going to open that chatbot. Okay, now I'm going to test. I'm going to see, I can't see the code on this, but I need to test. It was a bad day. And I need to make sure that it's still going to work for me. Okay, so you see there, I had trouble understanding that. Could you try rephrasing? In this case, it's not going to actually pull on the AI, and it has to do with actually having an account and such. Whereas if I use the share button here and I share the canvas, it stays within the Gemini infrastructure, and so it still is going to be using the chatbot. So if you're using any type of generative AI features, such as creating a picture, summarizing a text, taking what students write and turn it into a story, you'll need to make sure that you're sharing it through a link. And that's best by going to just any free account that's not connected with an organization, copying the whole code, okay, like this, opening a new chat, saying, please put this code in Canvas, selecting Canvas, pasting it in, and then doing this. And then it's going to open the Canvas window and you'll be able to share. So that's just something important to remember. If you want an AI feature, do not use a text file to share. Always use this Share Canvas button to get a link. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks.